Hello and welcome to Excel-Dashboard-Templates.com. This is Steve True. Please visit my blog at Excel-Dashboard-Templates.com so that you're sure to get the latest charting techniques, tips, and tricks to really make your work stand out in your next Excel dashboard. Okay, today we are going to show you how to do a horizontal line across different columns in a column chart. This horizontal line represents anything that you want to set. So in this case, it's a sales quota line. So we're going to set this threshold or this bar or this line as the quota for the salespeople to receive their 6% bonus, as you can see with this line, or also as you can see with this line, which is a little hard to select. There it is, this 8% bonus line. So if they hit 100% of their sales quota, they get an 8% bonus. If they hit 90%, they are going to receive a 6% bonus. And I'm going to show you how to create this in your 2D clustered column chart. Okay, so let's take a look at the data and how we have it set up. So what we have is we have John, Mary, Tom, and Mark, and they are going to have different sales figures as to what they've hit per quarter of their quota. So did they hit 75% of their quota, 86%, 88, 97, or that's the actuals that John has received for each quarter. Then what we want to do is to create this 6% bonus line. We want to mimic this data as though it's another quarter, if you will, and say, okay, what is the 6% bonus line? It's going to be 90% across all of these. It's important to add one for every single row that you have of data. Here's the 8% bonus line, once again mimicking like another quarter, since the quarters are going to be our different group values. And so we've got that set at 100% for each one of our rows of data as well. All right, let me move this one off to the side so we can compare it later. What we want to do is we want to highlight our data from B4 all the way down and through the bonus lines on H8. Going to go up to our insert ribbon. We're going to go to a column chart, and we're going to create a 2D clustered column chart right there. Let's move that up so that you can see it just a little better. Okay, so we have the makings of our chart. So you can see quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. But that's not really how we want the data. We actually want it by person. So in this case, we want to switch our rows or columns. You can read about why Excel makes you do this on my blog. Just type in switch and do a search for that, and it will show you that. So we want to select our chart. We want to go to our design ribbon, and there's a button over here in the data group called switch row or column. So now we have what we're looking for. We have John, Mary, Tom, and Mark, and then we have each one of their respective values for each quarter, and we have the 6% and 8% bonus lines. So now that we've done that, what we want to do is we want to change the 6% and the 8% bonus lines to actually be a line chart instead of a column chart. So select either one of those series. So I've selected the 6% bonus line. I'm going to go up to my design ribbon, and then over here in the left in the type group area we have change chart type. I'm going to click on that. Now we want to change this to a line chart. So let's click on line chart and click on OK. You can see the 6%'s there. Repeat this step for the 8% bonus line. Click on it, go up to your design ribbon, go to change chart type, and click on the line chart. And okay, so let's take a look at our chart. We're getting a lot closer. So see, we have here is our lines. There's the 6% line, there's the 8% bonus line, but they don't stretch all the way across all of our data. So it's hard kind of to tell. It was John's first quarter. You can kind of easily tell it doesn't hit each one of these, but the farther you get out, these lines just aren't going to hit to the edge. So I'm going to show you how to stretch those out from side to side. So what we want to do is we want to move each one of these lines to the secondary axis. So select one of your lines, right click on it, do Format Data Series, and then what we want to do is we want to move it to the secondary axis. Okay, click on the other line. You don't have to close this down. You can just, if you're able to select that other line in your chart, it brings up the Format Data Series for that chart. We want to move that one to the secondary axis as well. Let's go ahead and close it. Now, It's a little odd because we have two different axes points here. We'll fix this at the very end, so no worries about that. But let's go ahead and we want to show there's one other axis up here that's not being seen just yet. We want to add that in, and that is the secondary horizontal axis. So click in your chart, go up to your layout ribbon. Under the layout ribbon, you've got the axes, and under axes you have a secondary horizontal axis, and we want to show left-right axis. Alright, so now we've got John, Mary, Tom, and Mark. This is how we're going to ultimately stretch the lines out to fit all the way across. So let's go ahead and select the secondary horizontal axis, right-click on it, let's click on Format Axis. Then what we want to do is there is some choices down here. Major tick mark type, we want that to be none. That'll get rid of those little hashes for the horizontal axis. Minor types already set to none. Axis labels we want to do none. And then finally, to get it to stretch out, we're going to do position axis on tick marks. And let's close it and look at that. Just stretch those lines out because what it's doing, instead of having John, Mary, Tom, and Mark kind of centered, it's pushed them out to the edges, John and Mark, and thus our lines stretch out as well. Okay, so we're getting pretty close on what we want to do. Let's go ahead and click on that right axis, vertical axis, and hit your delete key. You'll see your lines are more at 90 and 100%. I like to adjust this vertical primary axis by right-clicking on it, going to Format Axis, and let's change our major unit to every 10th, and let's change our maximum to 110, and our fixed minimum at 0. Let's click on Close. I like to get rid of these grid lines as well because the important lines that I'm trying to show are these two different bonus lines. So let's click on the grid lines, hit your delete key. So the final step that we need to do, or a couple of final steps that we need to do, is go ahead and click on either one of these bonus lines. There we go. And what we want to do is I want to add which one of these lines are 6% and 8% instead of having them in the legend here. And so what I want to do is click on either one of those lines, go up to your layout ribbon, then we have data labels as a button, and we want to choose right. Let's click on that and look at that. 90% is now over here on the right, but let's go ahead and add the one for the 8% line as well. Go up to your layout ribbon, data labels, right. Now, these are the percentages that those equal to. Don't really want the percentages. I want this to actually be the label of 6% or 8% bonus. So if I right-click on it and do Format Data Labels, I want to change my choices to be the series name, so it's going to show 6% bonus or 8% bonus, and uncheck the value. And then if you can see one of those labels for the 8% line, click on that one as well, series name, uncheck values, and click on Close. Okay, so we have 6% and 8% over here on the right. So that means I can go in here and I can select each one of these other individual data labels and hit my delete key. So you first select the label, it selects every single label in the series, select that label again, and you can see it's only that data point label. Hit your delete key, so it's 2 clicks on each one. Click here on the 100% one and delete that one. Click once, click twice, hit my delete key. So now you see we've got 8% bonus and 6% bonus over here on the far right, which means I can now take it out of my legend. So let's select our legend, click on the 6% bonus, and hit your delete key. Select the legend, select the 8% bonus specific legend line, hit your delete key. And there we go. We're pretty close. Looks like I did forget one other formatting issue. There's this line at the very top at 110%. I usually like to get rid of that too. I forgot to delete that, or not delete it, but to hide that line. So select your chart, go up to your axes, do Show Secondary Horizontal Axis, left to right. You can see, remember I told you it stretched John and Mark out to the very edges. Want to select that one, right click on it and do Format Axis. I'm going to do line color of no line, and then click on OK. Okay, and this is where I can actually, oops, I forgot I needed to, let's right click on that and do Format Axis again. And this is where we want to take access labels back to none, major tick marks to none, and that will totally hide the line as well. and our position axis on tick marks. Click on close. All right, so that line is gone. We have our specific 8% and 6% sales quota bonus lines grouped by each one. The only thing different than the chart, let's go ahead and take a look at our original chart. I have some softer colors on some of these other series instead of the harsher colors that Excel puts in. You can easily fix this by right-clicking on each one of the data series, doing Format Data Series, and change the fill color from automatic to a softer fill color like this light blue, and you can go through and do that to match any color palette that you like. Final thing, just wanted to show what if you wanted to have each quarter, and then you can see each of the individual people as well. Let me scroll down and look at this data set. Here we've done the exact same thing, but instead we're having quarters grouped as our horizontal categories. So we've got John in blue, Mary in pink. John has hardly ever hit, and then he hit a 6% bonus. He's been growing. But this is how to group your information by quarter, so you can see our first quarter was very good, our last quarter was very good, but something's going on between that only Mark is actually hitting his bonus throughout every quarter. So what's he doing differently in quarter 1 and 2 that everybody else is not? To do this, you're going to do a similar thing, except for you're going to want to create these bonus lines, 6% and 8% bonus, across each one of the quarters. So that's how you would get that to do it like that. Hopefully this has been helpful. Please remember to sign up for our YouTube channel so that you're sure to get the latest tips and tricks right in your inbox. Also, you can search for lots of other techniques, tips, and tricks on Excel-Templates.com. Thank you.